Xi Jinping since 2012, and President of the People's Republic of China since 2013. Xi has been the paramount leader of China, the most prominent political leader in China since 2012, the son of Chinese Communist veteran Xi Zhongzhen. He was exiled to rural Yanchuan County as a teenager following his father's purge during the Cultural Revolution, and lived in a yaodong in the village of Langzhahe, where he joined the CCP and worked as the party secretary. After studying chemical engineering at Tsinghua University as a worker peasant soldier student, Xi rose through the ranks politically in China's coastal provinces. Xi was governor of Fujian from 1999 to 2002. Before becoming governor and party secretary of neighboring Zhejiang from 2002 to 2007. Following the dismissal of the party secretary of Shanghai, Chen Langyu, Xi was transferred to replace him for a brief period in 2007. He subsequently joined the Politburo Standing Committee of the CCP and served as first secretary of the Central Secretariat in October 2007. In 2008 he was designated as Hu Jintao's presumed successor as paramount leader. To that end, Xi was appointed Vice President of the People's Republic of China and Vice Chairman of the Central Military Commission. He officially received the title of Leadership Corps from the Chinese Communist Party in 2016. Xi has also been a member of the 17th, 18th, 19th CCP Politburo Standing Committee since 2007. In 2018, he abolished presidential term limits. Xi is the first CCP General Secretary born after the establishment of the People's Republic of China. Since assuming power, Xi has introduced far-ranging measures to enforce party discipline and to impose internal unity. His anti-corruption campaign has led to the downfall of prominent incumbent and retired Communist Party officials, including a member of the Politburo Standing Committee. He has also enacted or promoted a more assertive foreign policy, particularly with regard to China-Japan relations, China's claims in the South China Sea, and its advocacy for free trade and globalization. He has sought to expand China's African and Eurasian influence through the Belt and Road Initiative. Xi has often been described as a dictator or an authoritarian leader by political and academic observers, citing an increase of censorship and mass surveillance, a deterioration in human rights, the cult of personality developing around him, and the removal of term limits for the leadership. Under his tenure, Xi's political thoughts have been incorporated into the party and national constitutions. As the central figure of the fifth generation of leadership of the People's Republic, Xi has significantly centralized institutional power by taking on a wide range of leadership positions, including chairing the newly formed National Security Commission, as well as new steering committees on economic and social reforms, military restructuring and modernization, and the Internet. Xi Jinping was born in Beijing on 15 June 1953. The second son of Xi Zhongzhen and his wife Qi Xin. After the founding of the People's Republic of China in 1949 by Mao Zedong, Xi's father held a series of posts, including party propaganda chief, vice premier, and vice chairperson of the National People's Congress. Xi had two older sisters, Qiao Qiao, born in 1949, and Anan, born in 1952. Xi's father was from Fuping County, Shaanxi, and Xi could further trace his patrilineal descent from Xiang in Dengzhou, Henan. Xi went to the Beijing No. 25 school, and then Beijing Bei School. In the 1960s, he became friends with Liu He, who attended Beijing No. 101 school in the same district, who later became China's vice premier and a close advisor to Xi after he became China's paramount leader. In 1963, when he was age 10, his father was purged from the party and sent to work in a factory in Luoyang, Henan. In May 1966, the Cultural Revolution cut short Xi's secondary education when all secondary classes were halted. For students to criticize and fight their teachers, student militants ransacked the Xi family home, and one of Xi's sisters, Xi Heping, committed suicide from the pressure. Later, His mother was forced to publicly denounce his father, as he was paraded before a crowd as an enemy of the revolution. His father was later thrown into prison in 1968 when she was aged 15. Without the protection of his father, she was sent to work in Langshanghai village, Wenani, Yanchuan County, Yan'an, Shaanxi, in 1969 in Mao Zedong's Down to the Countryside movement. He worked as the party secretary of Langshanghai, where he lived in a cave house. After a few months, unable to stand rural life, he ran away to Beijing. He was arrested during a crackdown on deserters from the countryside and sent to a work camp to dig ditches, but later returned to the village, spending a total of 7 years there. The misfortunes and suffering of his family in his early years hardened Zai's view of politics. During an interview in 2000,